Welcome to Road Titans, Europe, a continent of ancient roads, modern highways, strict laws, and thousands of truckers who carry the heartbeat of its economy. But here's the truth most people never hear. European truck driving isn't just about horsepower, cargo, or long distances. It's about rules strict, unforgiving, and sometimes life-saving. Rules that decide how long a driver can breathe behind the wheel, when he must sleep, how many seconds he gets to react, and how many mistakes he's allowed to make, which is usually none. From the frozen highways of Scandinavia to the chaotic tunnels of Italy, from Germany's legendary Autobahn to the ancient villages of Spain where roads turn into stone corridors, European truckers navigate a world where a single wrong decision can cost a license, a life, or an entire career. Tonight, you're not just watching a video, you're stepping inside the real world of European truck driving rules, the rules that shape every mile, every paycheck, and every heartbeat on the road. Europe doesn't play games with driving hours. Where some parts of the world allow flexible, sometimes dangerous schedules, the EU created a strict system, one that can end a trucker's job with a single violation. The centerpiece of this system is the 56-hour weekly driving limit. Not 57, not 56 and a half, 56. Period. Truckers across Europe know this number like their own name. The rule means, no matter how urgent the delivery, no matter how close the deadline, no matter how good the weather, once your weekly limit hits 56 hours, you must stop. And enforcement? It's ruthless. Digital tachographs automatically record every second of driving. Police across Europe carry scanners that can read your entire week's activity in a minute. If they detect overspeed driving hours, even by 10 minutes, you're facing fines that can go over €3,000 in forced roadside rest. This rule was born from tragedy. Decades ago, Europe saw a wave of deadly fatigue-related crashes, drivers pushed by companies, pushed by schedules, pushed by survival. The EU stepped in and said, no more. Now, truckers plan every mile like a chess game. Every rest area counts. Every delay matters. It's not just a rule, it's a battle against time.
If you ever drive behind a European semi and suddenly see it pulling into a small rest area even though the road ahead is perfectly clear, there's a reason. The 45-minute break rule. After 4 hours and 30 minutes of driving, the driver must take a minimum 45-minute break. Not later, not earlier, not when convenient, exactly at the limit. Truckers often describe this rule as the ticking clock in your head. You could be climbing an alpine pass, you could be stuck in traffic, you could be searching desperately for parking. Once that tachograph hits 4 hours and 30 minutes, your wheels must stop. This leads to chaotic scenes in Europe, rest areas overflowing, drivers circling parking lots like sharks searching for a spot. Drivers parking on grass, on emergency lanes, even on access roads because missing the break means a massive fine. But why the strictness? Because the EU discovered something shocking. Most fatal accidents occur after the 4th hour of continuous driving. Human focus collapses. Reaction time slows. Microsleep hits without warning. So the rule exists not to annoy drivers, but to keep them alive. This rule is so famous that European truckers joke, you don't control the truck. The tachograph controls you. Long-haul trucking in Europe means crossing borders like crossing city lines. Germany to Poland, France to Italy, Spain to Belgium. But no matter how far you go, one law follows you like a shadow. You may not exceed 90 hours of driving into consecutive weeks. This rule turns long-distance planning into a math puzzle. Truckers must calculate which week needs more hours. Where will I rest? Which border has stricter police? Can I complete my delivery before the 90-hour clock resets? One wrong calculation, just one, and the driver may be stranded at a border with no hours left. Companies struggle too. Dispatchers create schedules so tight that missing a ferry or border checkpoint can destroy the entire 2-week plan. But this rule was born for a reason. Before it existed, drivers worked 100 to 120 hours in 2 weeks. Exhaustion was common. Across the EU, dozens of accidents every month were directly linked to overworking. Today, thanks to this rule, fatigue-related accidents have dropped dramatically. Yet, many truckers still say, the rule protects us, but it also controls us in America, logbooks are the Bible. In Europe, the tachograph is the judge, jury, and sometimes the executioner. Every European truck carries a digital tachograph required by law. It records driving time, brakes, rest periods, speed, distance, engine activity. Even attempts to cheat the system, the driver has a personal chip card like a digital identity. Whenever he inserts it, the system starts recording his every move. You can't argue with a tachograph. You can't negotiate with it. You can't delete or edit data. And the punishments for tampering, severe.
Drivers have been arrested for using magnets, second driver cards, or illegal software. Companies have paid fines up to 50,000 euros. The tachograph doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. And truckers know, if the tachograph says your driving is over, it's over. Most countries allow flexible rest times. Europe does not. A driver must take a minimum 9-hour rest every day, not at the hotel's convenience, not at the company's preference, not depending on freight urgency. You stop, you sleep. No exceptions. Truckers can extend their daily rest to 11 hours for better recovery, and most do when possible. Weekly rest is even stricter. A driver must take 45 continuous hours off after 6 days. Imagine sitting in your cab for nearly 2 days, far away from home, just because the law says so. Truckers spend these long rests washing clothes, cooking, calling family, cleaning their rigs, sleeping to reboot their bodies. It's lonely, it's demanding, but it saves lives. Europe stands on drinking and driving as extreme, and rightly so. Most countries enforce near zero tolerance for truck drivers. The limit is often 0.0% to 0.2% BAC, meaning even mouthwash can trigger a test. Random roadside alcohol checkpoints are common. Police don't need suspicion. They simply stop trucks and test drivers. Why so strict? Because a single mistake with a 40-ton machine can destroy multiple lives. Europe learned this through heartbreak. Several tragic accidents, especially in Germany and France, were caused by slightly impaired truck drivers. Families shattered, lives lost. So Europe responded with some of the world's toughest alcohol laws. Truckers know the rule. If you drink at night, you may lose your job in the morning. Norway, Sweden, Finland, Austria, Switzerland. These countries face brutal winters, snow walls, black ice, freezing rain, and whiteouts that erase the road from existence. So Europe enforces strict winter equipment regulations. Depending on the country, truckers must carry winter tires with specific tread dips, no chain, spare chain, sand or grit, reflective warning boards, emergency clothing, just clearing tools. Police often stop trucks at random checkpoints. If your equipment is incomplete, you face fines or immediate driving bans. In Norway, chains are mandatory from November to April. In Austria, winter tires are required by law. In Switzerland, failure to carry chains can cost hundreds of euros. The rules exist because European mountains are deadly steep, narrow, icy, and unpredictable. Truckers say, you don't fight European winter, you prepare for it.
Here's where things get complicated. Europe may be one continent, but its truck rules vary wildly. Speed limits change at every border. Weight limits change with every region. Tunnel rules differ by safety category. Urban restrictions are tighter in older countries like Italy, France, and the Netherlands. Environmental zones in major cities restrict older trucks completely. Truckers must memorize. Germany, Autobahn with no general speed limit but strict safety zones. France, very strict alcohol rules plus toll highways. Belgium, heavy tachograph enforcement. Spain, strict weight checks. UK, left side driving. Switzerland, expensive road taxes plus mountain inspections. Italy, narrow roads plus strict tunnel regulations. Crossing Europe can feel like passing through 10 different. One mistake, one forgotten rule, one missed sign, and fines follow immediately. That's why international truckers call Europe the hardest, smartest driving school in the world. These rules weren't made to torture truckers. They were created because Europe has some of the most crowded, complex, and historically challenging roads on Earth. Ancient Roman routes, medieval villages, modern high-speed motorways, tunnels under mountains, bridges over deep valleys, narrow coastal roads hugging cliffs, and millions of cars, buses, and trucks fighting for space. Europe's strict laws came from decades of research on fatal fatigue, chemical truck disasters, mountain accidents, tunnel fires, cross-border confusion. long-distance fatigue, environmental damage. Dangerous goods transport. Every rule has a story. Every law has a tragedy behind it. Drivers often hate the rules, but they also know these rules are the only reason thousands of us survive. Europe's system isn't perfect, but it is one of the safest in the world. And that's not an accident. It's design. Europe's rules are strict, sometimes frustrating, sometimes exhausting, but behind every law is a life saved. A trucker protected, a family spared from heartbreak. Here on Road Titans, we don't just show roads. We uncover the truth, the real stories behind the wheel, behind the regulations, and behind the machines that keep the world moving. If this video opened your eyes, if it changed how you see trucking, if it made you respect the men and women driving across Europe every day, then don't leave without joining the Titan family. Subscribe, like, share, and stay with us because the road is long. The stories are endless, and here, together, we ride stronger. Road Titans, where every mile tells a story.